Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Kartals Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo Jai Nitya Vishnu Vishupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Stotra Sadashi Shimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitya Leader Vishnu Vishupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Stotra Sadashi Shimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Gaudiya Vaishnava Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Seko Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shri Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shyamakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Shri Mayapur Navadvitam Ki Shri Gangamaya Jamunamaya Ki Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi Ki Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Brihat Madanga, Transcendental Bhakti Shushan Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, today we're reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Every Saturday we hear the transcendental pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we're reading from Madhya Lila 25, chapter 25, text number 105 or 104. By rendering devotional service, one gradually rises to the platform of love of Godhead. That is the chief goal of life. On the platform of love of Godhead, one is eternally engaged in the service of the Lord. Text 105. Please hear attentively what I shall speak to you, for transcendental knowledge about me is not only scientific, but full of mysteries. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd Canto, Chapter 9, Text 31. For an explanation, see Adi Lila, Chapter 1, Text 51. Text 106. O Brahma, I shall explain all these truths to you, since you are a living being, Jiva. Without my explanation, you will not be able to understand your relationship with me, devotional activity, and life's ultimate goal. I shall explain to you my actual form and situation, my attributes, activities, and 6 opulences. Lord Krishna assured Lord Brahma, quote, by my mercy all these things will be awakened in you. Saying this, the Lord began to explain the 3 truths, tattvas, to Lord Brahma. Text 109. By my causeless mercy, be enlightened in truth about my personality, manifestations, qualities, and pastimes. This is a purport. In the purport, this is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, Text 32. For an explanation, see Adi Leela, Chapter 1, Text 52. Before the creation of the manifestation, the Lord said, I existed, and the total material energy, material nature, and the living entities all existed in me. Text 111. After creating the cosmic manifestation, I entered into it. Whatever you see in the cosmic manifestation is but an expansion of my energy. Text 132. When the whole universe dissolves, I remain full in myself, and everything that was manifest is again preserved in me. Text 113. Prior to the cosmic manifestation, only I exist, and no phenomena exist, either gross, subtle, or primordial. After creation, only I exist in everything, and after annihilation, only I remain eternally. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, Text 33. It is the first verse of the Chatur Sloka. For an explanation, see Adi Leela, Chapter 1, Text 53. Text 114. In the verse beginning, Aham Eva, the word Aham, is expressed 3 times. In the beginning, there are the words Aham Eva. In the second line, there are the words Paschad Aham. At the end are the words Sosmi Aham. This Aham indicates the Supreme Person. By the repetition of Aham, the transcendental personality who is complete with 6 opulences is confirmed. Text 115. Impersonalists do not accept the personality of the personal feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The personality of Godhead is stressed in this verse in order to impress upon them the necessity of accepting Him. Therefore, the word Aham is mentioned 3 times. To stress something important, one repeats it 3 times. Text 116. Lord Krishna continued, actual spiritual knowledge and its application are considered in all these sound vibrations. Although the external energy comes from me, I am different from it. Text 117. Sometimes a reflection of the sun is experienced in place of the sun, but its illumination is never possible independent of the sun. Text 118. When one is transcendentally situated, he can perceive me. This perception is the basis of one's relationship with the Supreme Lord. Let me further explain this subject matter. Purport. Real spiritual knowledge has to be received from revealed scriptures. After this knowledge is attained, one can begin to perceive his actual spiritual life. Any knowledge achieved by speculation is imperfect. One must receive knowledge from the Parampara system and from the Guru. Otherwise, one will be bewildered and will ultimately become an impersonalist. When one scrutinizingly deliberates, he can realize the personal feature of the Absolute Truth. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is always transcendental to this material creation. Nitya Narayana Paravyaktat. Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is always transcendental. He is not a creation of this material world. Without realizing spiritual knowledge, one cannot understand that the transcendental form of the Lord is always beyond the creative energy. The example of the sun and the sunshine is given. The sunshine is not the sun, but still the sunshine is not separate from the sun. The philosophy of Achinta Bheda Tattva, simultaneously one and different, cannot be understood by one who is fully under the influence of the external energy. Consequently, a person under the influence of the material energy cannot understand the nature and form of the personality of the absolute truth. Text 119. What appears to be truth without me is certainly my illusory energy, for nothing can exist without me. It is like a reflection of a real light in the shadows, for in the light there are neither shadows nor reflections. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, Text 34. It is the second verse of the Chatur Sloka. For an explanation of this verse, see Adi Leela, Chapter 1, Text 54. Text 120. Now, please hear from me about the process of devotional service, which is applicable in any country, for any person, at all times, and in all circumstances. Purport. The cult of Bhagavad Dharma can be spread in all circumstances, among all people, and in all countries. Many envious people accuse the Krishna consciousness movement of spoiling the rigidity of Hinduism, so-called Hinduism. That is not actually the fact. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu confirms that devotional service to the Lord, the cult of Bhagavad Dharma, which is now being spread by the Krishna consciousness movement, can be spread in every country to every person, in any condition of life and in all circumstances. Bhagavad Dharma does not restrict pure devotees to the Hindu community. A pure devotee is above a Brahmana. Therefore, it is not incompatible to offer the sacred thread to devotees in Europe, America, Australia, Japan, Canada, and so on. Sometimes these pure devotees who have been accepted by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are not allowed to enter certain temples in India, most notably the Jagannath Temple. Also, some high caste Brahmanas and Goswamis refuse to take prasadam in the temples of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Actually, this is against the instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Devotees can come from any country, and they can belong to any creed or race. On the strength of this verse, those who are actually devotees and followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must accept devotees from all parts of the world as pure Vaishnavas. They should accept not artificially but factually. One should see how they are advanced in Krishna consciousness and how they are conducting deity worship, Sankirtan, and Rath Yatra. Yes, we just had Rath Yatra. Considering all these points, the envious persons must henceforward refrain from their malicious atrocities. Text 121. As far as religious principles are concerned, there is a consideration of the person, the country, the time, and the circumstance. In devotional service, however, there is no such considerations. Devotional service is transcendental to all such considerations. Purport. When we are on the material platform, there are different kinds of religions: Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, and so on. They are instituted for a particular time, a particular country, or a particular person. Consequently, there are differences. Christian principles are different from Hindu principles, and Hindu principles are different from Muslim and Buddhist principles. These may be considered on the material platform, but when we come to the platform of transcendental loving service, devotional service, there are no such considerations. The transcendental service of the Lord, sadhana bhakti, which is what we're practicing every day here in the temple, is above these principles. The world is anxious for religious unity, and that common platform can be achieved in transcendental devotional service. This is the verdict of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When one becomes a Vaishnava, he becomes transcendental to all these material considerations. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, text 26. Mam chayo vyabhacharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. The devotional activities of the Krishna consciousness movement are completely transcendental to material considerations. As far as different faiths are concerned, religions may be different types, but on the spiritual platform, everyone has an equal right to execute devotional service. That is the platform of oneness and the basis for a classless society. In his Amrita Pravaha Bhasya, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur confirms that one has to learn from a bona fide spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, about religious principles, economic development, sense gratification, and ultimately liberation. These are the four divisions of regulated life, but they are on the material platform. On the spiritual platform, the four principles are Gyan, Vigyan, Tad-anga, and Tad-rahasya. Rules, regulations, and restrictions are on the material platform. But on the spiritual platform, one has to be equipped with transcendental knowledge, which is above the principles of religious rituals. Mundane religious activities is known as smarta vidhi. But transcendental devotional service is called Goswami vidhi. Unfortunately, many so-called Goswamis are on the platform of smarta vidhi, yet they try to pass as Goswami vidhi, and thus the people are cheated. Goswami vidhi is strictly explained in Sanatana Goswami's Hari Bhakti Vilas, wherein it is stated, Yata kanchanatam yati comes yam rasa vidanata tata diksha vadanena dvijatvam jayate nirnam. By chemical manipulation, bell metal is turned into gold when touched by mercury. Similarly, when a person is properly initiated, he can acquire the qualities of a brahmana. This is a very important point because many smart Brahmin Indians, when they saw Srila Prabhupada coming to the West and initiating white Americans and blacks, they criticized Srila Prabhupada. But the conclusion is that devotional service is open for everyone, regardless of caste, creed, time, and country. This Krishna consciousness movement is functioning according to this principle. Text 122. It is the duty, therefore the duty of every man in every country, in every circumstance, and at all times, to approach a bona fide spiritual master, question him about devotional service, and listen to him explain the process. So this is our duty, that we need to approach a bona fide spiritual master, question him, and listen to him explain the process. Text 123. A person interested in transcendental knowledge must therefore always directly and indirectly inquire about it to know about the all-pervading truth. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, Text 36. It is the fourth verse of the Chatur Sloka. For an explanation, see Adi Leela, Chapter 1, Text 56. Text 124. Translation. Supreme affection for me is called love of Godhead, and that is the ultimate goal of life. Let me explain by a practical example the natural characteristics of such love. 125. The five material elements are existing inside and outside of every living entity. Similarly, I, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, am manifest within the heart of the devotee as well as outside of the body. Purport. The pure devotee knows that he is a servant of Krishna eternally. He knows that everything can be used in the service of the Lord. Text 126. As the material elements enter the bodies of all living beings and yet remain outside them all, I exist within all material creation, and yet I am not within them. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 2.935. It is also the third verse of the Chatur Sloka. For an example of explanation, see Adi Leela, Chapter 1, Text 55. Text 127. A highly elevated devotee can bind me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his heart by love. Wherever he looks, he sees me and nothing else. So any devotee can bind Krishna in his heart by love. And this process is what we are following, Bhakti Yoga. Text 128. Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who destroys everything inauspicious for his devotees, does not leave the hearts of his devotees, even if they remember him and chant about him inattentively. This is sometimes our condition. This is because the rope of love always binds the Lord within the devotees' hearts. Such devotees should be accepted as most elevated. And this is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th Canto, Chapter 2, Text 55. Text 129. A person advanced in devotional service sees within everything the soul of the souls, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. So every devotee, we see the soul in everyone's heart, but we also see the super soul. Consequently, he also sees the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the cause of all causes, and understands that all things are situated in him. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th Canto, Chapter 2, Text 45. Text 130. All the gopis assembled to chant the transcendental qualities of Krishna very loudly, and they began to wander from one forest to another like mad women. They began to inquire about the Lord who is situated in all living entities, internally and externally. Indeed, they even asked all the plants and vegetables about him, the Supreme Person. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:34. The gopis almost went mad due to Krishna's suddenly leaving the rasa dance. Because the gopis were fully absorbed in thoughts of Krishna, they were imitating his different postures and pastimes. They became very much saddened because of his absence, and this incident is explained by Shukadeva Goswami to Maharaj Parikshit. Text 131. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, thus one's relationship with the Lord, activities in devotional service, and the attainment of the highest goal of life, love of Godhead, are the subject matters of Srimad Bhagavatam. Text 132. The absolute truth is known by the self-realized souls as a unified identity known by the different names, impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 11. For an explanation, see Adi Leela, Chapter 2. Text 133. Before the cosmic manifestation was created, the creative propensity was merged in the Supreme Lord's person. At that time, all potencies and manifestations were preserved in his personality. The Lord is the cause of all causes, and he is the all-pervading, self-sufficient person. Before the creation, he existed with his spiritual potency in the spiritual world, wherein various Vaikuntha planets are manifested. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 5, Text 23. Text 134. All these incarnations of Godhead are either plenary portions or parts of the plenary portions of the Purusha avatars. But Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. In every age, he protects the world through his different features when the world is disturbed by the enemies of Indra. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.28. For an explanation, see Adi Leela, Chapter 2, Text 67. Text 135. This is one's eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, please hear about the execution of devotional service. This principle pervades each and every verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Text 136. Lord Krishna said, being very dear to the devotees and sadhus, I am attained through unflinching faith and devotional service. This bhakti yoga system, which gradually increases attachment for me, purifies even a human being born among dog eaters. That is to say, everyone can be elevated to the spiritual platform by the process of bhakti yoga. This verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th Canto, chapter 14, text 21. Text 137. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, said, "My dear Uddhava, neither through Ashtanga Yoga, the mystic yoga system to control the senses, nor through impersonal monism, or an analytical study of the absolute truth, nor through study of the Vedas, nor through austerities, charity, or acceptance of sannyas, can one satisfy me as much as by developing unalloyed devotional service unto me." So that's what we're practicing here. Purport. This is a quotation from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th Canto, chapter 14, text 20. For an explanation, see Adi Leela, chapter 17, text 76. Text 138. When the living entity is attracted by the external material energy, which is separate from Krishna, he is overpowered by fear, because he is separated from the Supreme Personality of Godhead by the material energy. His conception of life is reversed. In other words, instead of being an eternal servant of Krishna, he becomes Krishna's competitor. Yes, that's what we were doing before we took up the process. We were competing with Krishna to be the enjoyer. This is called viparyayo smriti. To nullify this mistake, one who is actually learned and advanced worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead as his spiritual master, worshipful deity, Shishivada Golokananda, and source of life. He thus worships the Lord by the process of unalloyed devotional service. Purport. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 11:237. Okay, text 142. Srimad Bhagavatam gives the actual meaning of the Vedanta Sutra. The author of the Vedanta Sutra is Vyasadeva, and he himself has explained those aphorisms in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. Text 143, 144. The meaning of the Vedanta Sutra is present in Srimad Bhagavatam. The full purport of the Mahabharata is also there. The commentary of the Brahma Gayatri is also there and fully expanded with all Vedic knowledge. Srimad Bhagavatam is the supreme Purana, and it was compiled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his incarnation as Srila Vyasadeva. There are 12 cantos, 335 chapters, and 18,000 verses. Purport. This is a quotation from the Garuda Purana, text 145. The essence of all Vedic literature and all histories has been collected in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Purport. Srimad Bhagavatam was collected by the incarnation of God, Vyasadeva, and it was later taught to his son, Sukadeva Goswami. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.41. Text 146. Srimad Bhagavatam is accepted as the essence of all Vedic literature and Vedanta philosophy. Whoever tastes the transcendental mellow of Srimad Bhagavatam is never attracted to any other literature. Isn't it, dear devotees? In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is an explanation of the Brahma Gayatri mantra. The absolute truth, Satyam Param, indicates the relationship, and we meditate Dhimahi on him, indicates the execution of devotional service and the ultimate goal of life. Text number 148. O my Lord, Sri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Lord Sri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes of the creation, sustenance, and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion as one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire or land or seen on water. Only because of him, due to the material universes temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of material nature, appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Sri Krishna, who is eternally existent in his supreme transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. Purport: this is the opening invocation of Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1:1. This is the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, text 149. Completely rejecting all religious activities which are materially motivated, this Bhagavat Purana propounds the highest truth, which is understandable by those devotees who are fully pure in heart. The highest truth is reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. Such truth uproots the threefold miseries. This beautiful Bhagavatam, compiled by the great sage Vyasadeva in his maturity, is sufficient in itself for God realization. What is the need of any other scripture? As soon as one attentively and submissively hears the message of Bhagavatam, by this culture of knowledge, the Supreme Lord is established within his heart. And this is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, Text 2. See also Adi Leela, Chapter 1, Text 91. Text 150. Srimad Bhagavatam gives direct information of the mellow derived from service to Krishna. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam is above all Vedic literatures. Text 151. The Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence of all Vedic literatures, and it is considered to be the ripened fruit of the wish-fulfilling tree of Vedic knowledge. It has been sweetened by emanating from the mouth of Shukadeva Goswami. You who are thoughtful and who relish mellows should always try to taste this ripened fruit. O thoughtful devotees, as long as you are not absorbed in transcendental bliss, you should continue tasting this Srimad Bhagavatam. And when you are fully absorbed in bliss, you should go on tasting its mellows forever. Is the purport from the quote, Srimad Bhagavatam 1:1-3. Text 152. We never tire of hearing the transcendental pastimes of the personality of Godhead, who is glorified by hymns and prayers. Those who enjoy association with him relish hearing his pastimes at every moment. Does anyone have any comments or questions at this point? Okay, we'll continue. Text 153. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised Prakashananda Saraswati, study Srimad Bhagavatam very scrutinizingly. then you will actually understand the meaning of the Brahma Sutra. Text 154. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, always discuss Srimad Bhagavatam and constantly chant the holy name of Lord Krishna. In this way, you will be able to attain liberation very easily, and you will be elevated to the enjoyment of love of Godhead. This is what's available for us by taking up pure devotional service, pure love of Godhead. And this purport, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur states that without studying the Srimad Bhagavatam, one cannot understand the purport of the Brahma Sutra, Vedanta Sutra, or the Upanishads. If one tries to understand Vedanta Sutra and the Upanishads without studying the Srimad Bhagavatam, one will be bewildered and, construing a different meaning, will actually become an atheist or an impersonalist. Text 155. One who is thus transcendentally situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires for anything, to have anything. Isn't that amazing experience? Wish I had it. He is equally disposed toward every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. This is a verse from Bhagavad Gita. Anybody know it? Chapter 18, text 54. Brahma bhuta prasanatman asochati nakankshati samak sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. Okay, text 156. Even a liberated soul merged in the impersonal Brahman effulgence is attracted to the pastimes of Krishna. He thus installs a deity and renders the Lord's service. Purport. This is a quotation from Shankaracharya's commentary on the Nisringa Tapani Upanishad. Text 157. Shukadeva Goswami addressed Parikshit Maharaj. My dear king, although I was fully situated in the transcendental position, I was nonetheless attracted to the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Therefore, I studied Srimad Bhagavatam from my father. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 1, Text 9. Text 158. When the breeze carrying the aroma of tulsi leaves and saffron from the lotus feet of the lotus-eyed personality of Godhead. There's tulsi leaves and saffron on Krishna's lotus feet. Do the pujaris hear that? Radha Golokananda can have tulsi and saffron on their lotus feet. The lotus feet of the lotus-eyed personality of Godhead entered their nostrils. And who is this? This is the four Kumaras. Into the hearts of those sages, the Kumaras, they experienced a change of both body and mind, even though they were attached to the impersonal Brahman understanding. So does everyone want to experience a change of body and mind and become totally attached? Oh, to the impersonal Brahman? No. This is a quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam. For an explanation, see Madhya Lila, chapter 17. Text 159. Those who are self-satisfied and unattracted by the material desires are also attracted to the loving service of Sri Krishna, whose qualities are transcendental and whose activities are wonderful. Hari, the personality of Godhead, is called Krishna because he has transcendentally attractive features. Jai, all glories to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. All glories to Sri Radha Golokananda. Jai.
Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Maravindadalaya Taksham Varhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Nandar Agom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Jiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami 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 Govindam Adi Purusham
Adi Purusha, Hare Krishna. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharini Nirvishesha Sanyavadi Paschachade Satarini Saraswati Devi Jai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasade Gaura Bhaktarinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shivasade Gaura Bhaktarinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasade Gaura Bhaktarinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasade Gaura Bhaktarinda Jaya Gaura Bhaktarinda Jaya Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Haribo Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Raya Nama Krishna Yaravaya Namaha. Hare Raya Nama Krishna Yaravaya Namaha. Yaravaya Maravaya Keshavaya Namaha. Keshavaya Namaha. Yaravaya Maravaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Giri Hari Gopinath Madana Mohan. Giri Hari Gopinath. Giri Hari Gopinath Madana Mohan. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita. Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita. Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita. Hare Raya Nama Krishna Yaravaya Namaha. Nama Krishna Yaravaya Nama. Hare Raya Nama Krishna Yaravaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan. Govinda Ram Shri Nittagor Haribo, 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 Nittagor Haribo, 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 Nittagor, Nittagor Haribo, 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 Nittagor Haribo, Haribo, Haribo. Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radhe. Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha Golokananda Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe. Go! Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. Jai Om Vishnupad. Paramahamsa Bhagavacharya Satarya. Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur ki. Friends to go to Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. She had waited to get out. She must be all of them. Vrindavan Dham ki. Mayapur Dham ki. Navadvip Dham ki. Jamuna Maya ki. Ganga Maya ki. Tulsi Devi ki. Bhakta Devi ki. Ganga Devi ki. Shishi Radha Golokananda ki. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki. Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled. All glories to the assembled. All glories to the assembled. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga.
Nirvapanam Shreya
बुद्धिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मा स्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्गीतं
Kirtanam Nam Namakari Bauda Ija Sarva Shakti
तत्रार्पिता नियमिता स्मरणेन कालः एतादृशी और ममापि
Durdaivam Idrishamiha Janina Naraka Trinadavi Sunichena Taradavi Seshnina Hamani Mahamanadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Vajagadishakamaye Mama Janmani Janmani Shore Bhavadad Bhakti Rakhi Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavambuddha Krivayata Vavada Pankaja Stita Dvidi Sadrisham Vichintaya Nayanam Gamada Shudaraya Vadanam Gadgada Gudaya
कुलकैर्निचितं वपु कदा तव नाम
Amagane Bhavishyati Yugayitam Nimishena Chakshusha Pravishayatam Shinyayitam Jagatso Govinda Viraname Asyasya Vaharotam Vinamam Adarshanam Marmahatam Karotu Va